This conference will now be recorded.
Hello and welcome to the last day of the year. How are you all?
Good.
Good to hear that. And I hope you must have had some, I'm fumbling, really. Last year's resolution, hopefully it's done, and the next year's resolution, hopefully there is DevOps learning in the next year's resolution. That means I'm there in your resolution for the next year. Yeah. So we learned it till where? Piping users and groups permission. Right. Okay. Very well then. I don't know about you, but I have like I don't know resolution or fear. I had to complete a lot of things today, so I was like wake till late night before the next year starts.
Yeah, Imran, good morning. So this is Rajesh here. So
Yeah, Rajesh.
today is my first class. I just joined today. So what are the topics done till now?
We topic not like we are doing currently Linux.
Oh, okay. That is like we are in basic level, right?
Yeah, yeah, very basic level.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Imran.
Okay. Why? Right. File permissions.
Hi Imran, this is Hardeep.
Yes.
Yeah, actually today is my second class. I just wanted to know how many company use Vagrant.
Um, Companies don't use Vagrant. You use Vagrant. It's for you.
Okay, so in case instead of Vagrant I use normal virtual box then it is also good, right?
We are also using VirtualBox only. We are just automating the process of creating virtual machine. Have you gone through all the videos previously?
Not yet.
Yeah, that's why you're asking this question. See,
Okay.
we are using Vagrant to automate the VM process. This, if you ask me how many companies using, I'll tell you. You should have asked me how many DevOps engineers are using Vagrant, and I'll say almost all of them.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
instead of creating, you watch the video, you'll understand. Okay, you know how to create virtual machines, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so then see how to do it through Vagrant, and you'll feel the difference, and then you can decide which one to choose, manual or automatic.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
See, only one people should be there in your team who should decide what tool to use, and that should be you. Okay? Yeah, I know. Sometimes, so many times, you get decision from the managers, from the seniors, whosoever it is. But even I've been into that situation. But you decide what tool to use. Okay? I resist. I use the right tool. Okay, when you be in that situation, you also have to do the same thing. People don't know about automation and they just tell you to do something, automate something with so and so thing, right? With write a script. Why would I write a script, man? There is Ansible, I can do it very easily, quickly. Yeah, but no, 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 we want to use script because client told us to do script. Well, client don't know anything about technology, we know about technology, so we have to make the decisions. Okay, yeah, I'll discuss about those things also.
Yeah.
Let's No, that was for everyone, by the way. Am I in the wrong machine or what? Serial. Yeah, there we go. Okay, the command to run the long list ls-l, which gives me more information about the file. We have seen we get the last update time when the file was last updated or edited. Okay, file means anything, okay, even the directory. And we get other information also here. We get ownership. This is the owner of the file, the user of the file, we generally say. User either who created it or who owns it. This is the group. Okay, the group, like the group that we add, or the primary group. This is the group owner of the file, and this side is the permission. Okay, the first word we have seen is the type of the file. So D represents a directory, and this is file, or file permission, or we also call it as mode. Let's talk about that. So here we have actually three things: RWX, and again we see that repetition, RWX, then we say R minus X. So R represents read permission, W represents write permission, and X represents execute permission. Okay, and these are also called as mod, MOD mod. We have first three, which is for the owner. Owner. The next, or generally it's called as not owner, it's called as user. I'm using that owner word to just to make you understand, but it's just called the user who owns that. The next three is for the group, and the last three is for others. So if you see a minus, that means no permission. So now check this out. The user has read, write, execute, full permission. Group owner. So let's bring the, let's say the user or the owner is Vagrant and the group is also Vagrant. So here you can say Vagrant user has full permission, read, write, execute. Vagrant group has full permission. Others, anybody who doesn't belong to the Vagrant group or is not the user, such kind of user comes into the other section. And others, anybody else, have read and execute permission. There is no write permission. Read and execute permission for anybody else. Now let's create some files here. I'll go to opt directory. Sudo -i. Let me become root user. I'm going to opt directory, and I'm going to create some file here and some directory. Touch file 13.py. Say some Python script, and let's create some directory. Dir scripts. So I have here three files and three directories. Now I created with root user. I created the file and the directory with the root user, so the owner is root and the group is also root. Here. For file, when you create a file by default, it will not get any execute permission. We give execute permission to a file when we write script. We want to make it a script or a program that we can execute it from anywhere. And for directories, execute permission are given by default. Execute permission is to do cd into that directory. If you remove the execute permission for the directory, the user cannot do cd, cannot go into that directory. And we created with root user, so it has the ownership of root, and group is also root. Now if we talk about this file, it is owned by root user. Now let's be a normal user, Vagrant, which is a normal user, and let's come to root directory. Let's do ls-ltr. Opt directory is owned by the root user. So Vagrant is not root and doesn't belong to the group root also. So it comes with the other. So read and execute permission. So execute permission Vagrant user has. So I can do cd then to opt. Okay. Then in opt directory, again, there is no write permission for others here. So if I try to open up file 3.py, so there is a read permission to others. So I can read, I can even open this file. But if I try to add something here, you see it's already giving me warning, changing read-only file. And let's try to save this. I won't be able to save it. So I have to exit. Okay. Same with these directories. Let's try to create something in this directory. Touch test.txt into directory scripts 1. Sorry, like that. So touch command, I'm trying to create a file in that directory. It says permission denied. Okay, because there is no write permission for others here, and Vagrant user doesn't belong to root group or is not root user. Okay, so now let's change permission. Let's me exit from Vagrant. Now I am root user, and root user can do anything. Okay, can go anywhere, can update any file. So there is no restriction on root user. Now let's talk about ownership. Let's say I want to make give file 3 owner as Vagrant user. So I'll use the command chown, change ownership, username dot, or you can use colon, and the group name. So I'll keep group as root itself. File3.py. Now Vagrant is the owner of this file, and Vagrant user has read and write permission. So now if I become the Vagrant user, so I can open file 3.py, and I can even make changes. Test. You see that? So that's how you change the ownership. chown command, change ownership. Okay, sudo -i. So that was about ownership. Now let's change permission. I'm going to write Python script in file3.py. So I want to make it executable. Right? We need to give that X permission for everyone. Chmod is the command to give permission or change the mod. Okay, chmod, and let me show you something here. U is for user. We'll use these words. G is for group, and X is for execute. Plus is for addition, and minus I should give like this, removal. Okay, and you already know RWX. So I want to give user, oh, sorry, my bad, I did wrong here. Oh, O is for others. So let's say I want to give user execute permission. So I will say u plus x. Chmod u plus x file 3.py. Now observe, you don't have execute permission for the user. Okay, here is a minus. All right, got the execute permission. You see it turned to green also. Okay, now I'll really write a Python script over here. It's just recording Python scripting. Don't worry, we'll learn this. Print hello all, welcome to Linux. That's all. So then I can start executing it. This is called execution. So whatever is in the file gets executed on the Python interpreter. So execute permissions are helpful like this. Okay, now yeah, now let's change other permission. There's also one more thing. You can give a also, a equal to all. A means all. So I can say chmod a plus execute, which will give everyone execute permission. So everyone got the execute permission. So this is called as symbolic method. Symbolic method. Okay. Let's say I want to remove permission for others, all the permission. Chmod say r minus others file 3.py and sorry, I have to do the reverse here. R yes, and also execute permission. So all the permission for others have been removed. Now when I want to do multiple permission, then I would be trying some other method, which is numerical method. Numerical method, so as we have seen here, R represents read, and there is also numerical value attached to it, which is 4. For write it's 2, for execute it's 1. So we have to do little maths here. So let's say I want to give read, write, execute permission to user. So 4 plus 2 plus 1, read, write, execute. So that will be 7. Okay, the first bit is going to be for the user. Then for the group, let's say I want to give read and execute permission. So 4 plus 1, 5. And for others, I don't want to give any permission, so I'll give 0. And then I give file name. Okay, it's a faster method. Let's try that. So let's do that for file 1.py. Chmod C750 file 1.py. So owner will get full permission, and here you will see read and execute, and here you will see no permission. Right? It's a quick way to give permission for user group and others all together. That's numerical method. Whichever you feel, you can use it. I use both. When I want to do single permission, I use symbolic method. When I want to do multiple permission, I use numerical method. Okay. Now, one last thing with this permissions and ownership. Let me copy all that file to.
Here, what is the execute means like?
execute, I have just shown you I executed the file.
I mean,
This
with
is
the
called as
read write,
execute.
can't we execute? Is it?
No, we can't.
Okay.
That's what execute means, right? If you go to bin directory, you will see all these files will have execute permission. Oops. These are all the commands that we are executing. Actually, these are links. You see execute permission there? These are all the commands that we are executing. That's what execution means. So I have copied these 3 files in the directory. Okay, and let me give some permission to those files. chon vagrant dot vagrant to all the files. So I can give like this star, right? And permission I will give 700 to all. So that's the permission and ownership for this file. Now let me come one level up. So directory scripts 1, that's the directory. Now if I want to change the permission of the directory that contains other files and subdirectory inside that, and I do it something like this, I say chmod 777 directory scripts 1. What's 777?
Read, write, execute.
Right, execute.
But I have 3 7 there. Read, write, execute for the user or the group, others. Yes, for all full permission. This is the most dangerous thing. Okay, yes, I did that for the directory, but let's check now what happened inside the directory. Well, inside the directory it remains same. So permissions are not recursive by default. When you give permission to a directory, it's not recursed by default. If you want to do it, you have to give -r or small r. Please mute yourself now. So you have to give -r, capital R or small r. Then only it will recurse the permission. You have to be very careful with these two things now. So let's check. Okay, you see that inside that directory also now same permissions are applied. Now I wanted to show you two things here. One is how to give permission recursively, but also be very careful when you do that. And let's say you have hundreds and thousands of files inside this directory with different permissions, then all of that will have the same permission. Okay, and you can't reverse it. Okay, it's irreversible. If you have taken backup of this directory, then you can restore it back, but with any command you can't restore it. That's one thing. Second thing, you will see some people telling you, you're getting some error, some issues, and you google and you try to find permission error, or you get some permission error. Don't give 777. It's the most dangerous permission. Okay, you're exposing your file. You're telling everybody can do anything on this file. Okay, so we actually have some automated script that runs and checks for any file that is having 777 permission, and we remove those files. Okay, so you better not use 777. Find who is accessing the file and give accordingly. Check the owner or add the user into the group, then give the group ownership. Let's say we're creating a directory mkdir/opt/data, and we have a group. So manage it with group, like we have a group of developers, right? And you have a user, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3. Of course, you'll have a better name. Okay, so you want to give access on /opt/data to the developers. Can you please mute? There's too much background noise. So better we add the user into the group dev1 comma dev2 comma dev3, and then you give the ownership. So you want to just give the group ownership, you can just say dot and the group name to /opt/data, and I want to do it recursively. So in the data directory now, anybody who belongs in the developer group can do these things, and then you decide what you want to add. A write permission also, so G plus W recursively. So that's the right way of doing it. When you want multiple users to have access to the same directory and file, you add them into a group and then you give group ownership. Okay, that's why we have taken users and group first. That's how you handle it. Don't give 777 full permission. All right, and then there are some special permissions also, which I'll talk later about it. Sticky bit and SUID. Okay, that's a little more complicated, so let's do that later. Everyone clear on permission and ownership? This is something that again you'll do very regularly. If you don't have access to a file or a directory, you'll get permission denied. That's the error, permission denied. In the log file, you're saying something like permission denied, then remember you have to use some chmod, chon, something like that. Okay, you can write that down. Okay, it's a very commonly getting errors, permission denied in the log file, and you'll see some services trying to access some directory, permission denied. Recursively means how can I put it, a directory, and inside that all the other subdirectories and file, everything recursive, like that. That's what recursive means. We talked about removing the files also recursively, right? -r, that's very dangerous. Yeah, okay. Now sudo, you must have heard about power of attorney, right? Like if I'm the owner of a company and I'm going out for a month or so, I want someone else to take decision on my behalf. So I will give power of attorney to someone else, some other individual, so that the person can take decisions on my behalf. That's what sudo is. Root user has full power, can do anything. Root user can give the power or power of attorney to some other user also. Oh, what all user do we have? Let's do tail etc. What's wrong with this here? Stone cold. Yeah. Okay, now let's log in with stone cold user. su-stone cold. Okay, logged in with stone cold user. Now let's try to do sudo -i. It's asking password for stone cold. Okay, read that. It's asking password for stone cold and not for root. I really forgot its password. No, I remember. Okay. Yeah, it is giving an error. Stone cold is not in the sudo's file. This incident will be reported. Reported as if it's gonna launch an FIR or what. Anyways, so stone cold user doesn't have the sudo's privilege or power of attorney. come back to the root user, run this command vi sudo. This will open up a file. First, let me show you that file. etc sudoers. This is the file. When I run the command vi sudo, it will open up this file in vi editor or the default editor. And you see there is no write permission, nothing. So don't even think about changing permission to this file and then editing it. All right, sudo commands will not work then, and it will be a very, very bad thing. You'll be stuck in a deadlock. Okay. So this is the only command that can handle it internally. It can open up that file, you save the content, and it saves the file and comes out. All right, no direct editing to this file. Just run this command. No space in between vi and sudo. It's a command. So this file will have a lot of entries. Hash always represents comment in bash. Comment means that particular line is ignored by the bash interpreter. So you can give hash and you can write anything that you want. The bash interpreter will simply ignore it. So I'm looking for a setting for root user. Yeah, there, root user. So that's how you give sudo for the, just copy pasted this content. Okay, don't edit the root line. All right, come on. Yeah, here I will give the username stone cold. Okay, stone cold, and I give a similar thing. These all means so many different things. All commands from all the interpreter, from all the terminal. We'll see that later. But I have added stone cold into the sudoers file and I've given full permission. Let's save and quit. Now let's log in as stone cold user. Okay, this hyphen, if you give, it will also change the home directory, which is important. Okay, now let's do sudo -i. Okay, it's asking password for stone cold. I'll give password for stone cold user, and there you go. I am now root. Or stone cold has become root user. Okay, that's one thing. Or stone cold can do other thing also. Can execute any root command by giving sudo and then any other root command like yum install or yum search. I'll talk next about these commands only. Okay, Java. Yum is a package manager that will install softwares, so that can be done only by the root user. But any root user or any system command you can execute by providing sudo, provided the user is in sudoers file. Okay, you see it's executing. So there are two ways: either you can become the root user, or you can execute the command by giving sudo and then the command. Okay. All right, let's exit. Now back to root user. Let's open that file again. Now the thing is, when I'm running sudo -i command, or I'm running any sudo command, at least first time it will ask me the password. That will be very annoying when we learn scripting. You know, we write some automation code, we'll run it with sudo and it will ask passwords for us. So in the background, if you're running, there won't be anyone to give the password. So I don't want it to ask me the password again. So for that purpose, I will say here, no passwd at the end here for the all. No passwd colon and a space. Then it will not ask password for stone cold user if it does sudo -i. And remember, that's password for the user password, not the root password. Okay.
Imran,
Yeah.
yeah, Imran, this pseudo file is having only read-only permission, right? But you are able to
Yes.
write the some content to the file. How?
I'm not opening the file with with vi and the file name. It's a command that will internally open up that file. Okay, it will internally change the permission and open up. Okay, directly it's not. I'm not directly using vi and the sudoers file. It's a command. Okay, it's a Linux command. That's why it's like that.
Okay.
Okay, now let me do sudo -i, and this time it will not ask password. Check. You see, did not ask password. Directly turn to the root user. Okay, let's see from here itself now. Vi sudo. So like you have given a user, you can also add group like this. If let's say you want to add the group developer, which we added entire group into sudoers, that also you can do. But be careful with these things. Okay, adding the entire group. Remember, then you have to keep in mind what are user you are adding into that group. If sometimes you add some other user, it should not have the permission of root, then it could be a problem. Okay, so you can do that. There is also one more method. Okay, let me comment that hash. Yeah, before I go to the next method, let's see. I made some syntax errors. I added some line here, made some syntax error, and I'm trying to say wq save and quit. So sudoers will give me an error before quitting the file. Syntax error near line number 93. Okay, you have to be very alert and then edit that file back. Okay, you have to remove the syntax error. If you don't remove the syntax error, sudo command will not work. And if you don't have the root password, then you cannot log in as root user. You cannot run sudo. So that means you cannot go back and edit the sudoers file again. So you'll be stuck in a deadlock. So edit the file, just give E, hit enter, remove that syntax error, save and quit. It should be clean. Okay, all the savings of the file should be clean in Linux, no forceful things. Right. So that's one thing. You have one more thing, sudoers.d. What? Yeah, sudoers.d. In this directory, you can place a file with whatever name you want. Like you have a Vagrant file here, and that's putting Vagrant group and giving with no pass wd, right? So that's why Vagrant user can run any sudo command without any password. If you want, you can create your own files also here. Let's say for developer, what I'll do, cat Vagrant redirect the output to my file. Yeah, that's easy. Developers group or a user if you want. This is always safer. This is safer to directly edit the sudoers file. Okay, in this directory you can add file with whatever name and you can put your sudo's command here. Okay, that's all for sudo. All good? Everyone know now how to make any user sudoers user with no pass wd? We'll be doing this a lot. Okay, awesome. Right, let's see package installation. So we have two kinds of before I go there, one different thing in Ubuntu system. Yeah, the Ubuntu system also has same command to open the sudoers file. You can run vi sudo, but this is what happens. It opens up into nano editor. Okay, if you don't want nano editor or if you don't like, don't use, just do Control X and run this command, export editor equal to vim, and then you can run vi sudo. Then it has opened it up in the vi editor. Okay, and then you can of course do the same thing, give your user and give all that permission. Save and quit. Now dev1 user does not exist, so I can, if I want, I can create the user later also. Okay, or you can do create the user first and then you can give the permission. That's the only difference in the Ubuntu system. You have to run that command. Anyways, if you like nano editor, you can continue with that also, or you can just export editor vim and then use vi editor. Just too much noise today, seriously. Okay, so that's the CentOS system. It's from the Red Hat family. I told you the major difference between Red Hat family and Debian family is the packaging. Okay, package, generally people call them as softwares. Okay, we call them as package. We call them as artifact also in the building phase. Okay, so the packaging of all that binaries of all that file of that software in Red Hat based system is done with .rpm extension. So if you want to check what are the available RPM packages available in Red Hat based system, you run the command rpm-qa. So these are all the available RPMs available, installed in this machine. Okay. If you want to download and install, then you can Google your choice of software. So let's do an experiment. Tree command. Tree is a command which will show the directory into tree structure. Okay, let's find tree rpm. Actually, there is much more easy method to install tree, but first let me show you this method. So there are rpm find, it's a very popular rpm pbond. There are so many sites which are popular for hosting the rpms. Let's go for tree 1.8. This is for Fedora. Okay, one for CentOS. FC, it's written the CentOS. CentOS 6, CentOS 6, CentOS 6, x86 64. Now, this is the architecture. So you can run uname-a command and it will tell you what architecture your operating system is. It's 64-bit. If you see something like i386, i686, i586, that's 32-bit. This is 64-bit. So we'll be looking for a 62-bit RPM. So CentOS, yeah. So that's how you identify. Here also it's written EL6, Enterprise Linux 6. So it not only works on CentOS 6, any 6th version of Enterprise Linux, RHEL, okay, or it can be also working on Fedora. That's an HTML file there. Okay, let's click on it. Yeah, that's the RPM, I guess. Let's click. It downloads. So that's our link. Let's copy that link. We make sure when you click it starts downloading. So that's your link. And then to download you have to use the command wget and paste. So wget and you give the URL, it will simply download it for you. So tree RPM is downloaded. Now it's time to install rpm hyphen, let me clear the screen, rpm hyphen ivh, or just I. Okay, I is for installation. Tree, or you can give V for verbosity. It will show the output. So installation started. Okay, it installed that package. That package gives me a command, tree command. Tree command shows directories into tree structure. Let's do it on var directory. And there are too many files there. Okay, let's cancel it. Probably var/log. Yeah. So these are the available files. Then there is a directory audit. In that you have another file, audit.log. This is a very visualizing good, output. Okay, very useful later for me to display you some content. So this is how installed. This command was not there, so I installed the package and that made the command available. Okay, but remember one Linux principle: everything in Linux are small single purpose programs. Programs are very, very small. So if I want to host a website now, I'll be using a service called as HTTPD, Apache HTTPD service. Let's see if HTTPD RPM. It's a web service. We'll talk about it. We'll do a lot of web services and application services. But first, the requirement is that I have to install the software. So let me find the software. CentOS 6, that one. Right? Let's copy the link. Let's download it. HTTPD Apache HTTPD is a service. It runs as a service. We'll talk about services also. RPM-iv HTTPD. Okay, I got some errors. Failed dependencies. It is telling me that some other package is needed. This file is needed. This software is needed. This software is needed. So all these 3-4 softwares are needed, are the dependency to install this. So what I can do is I can search for this software, download them, install them. Then probably they may have more dependencies, so I have to install more software. And then sometimes it goes on and on and on. It's a very big problem. So to get over these problems, Linux system has given us package manager that downloads and install package with its dependencies from repositories. Think about like Google Play Store or iPhone App Store. Well, you just search, find your software, you click on install, it will download and install, and also it will download and install the dependencies also. Okay, well, Android is a Linux based, so it has used the same concept. Okay, iPhone, it's again Unix based, it has used the same concept. Repositories, there are some repositories like in Red Hat system. The repositories are mentioned over here: etc yum.repos.d directory. There are files and you can create more files here. Let's open up some file. And there will be mentioned repositories here. Okay, that is from a file. Probably let's open some other one. Lost track. So URLs, most of these URLs are commented. So from this URL, it will go and search for the software, also its dependency, it will download and install. Okay, these are called as repositories. So to access that, I will run the command yum install. Oh, I can search also, yum search httpd. So it will search for this package in all the yum repositories that I have, and there you go, it has. All right, plus some other also it have. Now I will say yum install httpd. So now what will happen, it will look for the dependency with the software and also install it. Yeah, so you see there it's installing HTTPD, and it's installing for this. It's installing these dependencies also. API util HTTPD-tools mailcam, and for this only we are getting error. So package installation is very easy if you have those packages available in the repository. If you don't have it, you can add from other repositories also. You can add new repositories also. We'll do that a lot of times because we'll be installing lots and hundreds of packages actually in this course. So we'll be doing this a lot, adding new repositories, installing software from those repositories. Not all your desired softwares are available in the default repository. Sometimes, or so many times, you have to add new repositories. Okay, right. So that was about installation. If you want to remove it, you can just say yum remove and the package name. That's how you can remove. But you see, when I'm removing, it's removing only the package and not the dependencies. Okay. Easy peasy Japanesey. That's how they say. It's very easy to install packages and remove packages in Linux. Now let's check Ubuntu system. So Ubuntu also, you have dp Debian packages. To list all the Debian packages, you can give the command dpkg -list. These are all the Debian packages. vim, this we know. wget, this also we know. So here also for tree command, we'll try to do the same thing. Tree command is not available, but here I have a link also. Nice. Or I can search and find the link. So here the package is .deb, okay, with .deb extension. Okay, to install it, dpkg-i and the package. Now command will be available. Okay, now let's do same experiment with here with HTTPD, but this time let's directly go and install apt search Apache 2. That's the name of the package. The packages name are also different, so many places in Debian and Red Hat family. Here the HTTPD package is called as Apache 2. Okay, both does the same thing. Okay, both are similar service, but their package name is different, so their configuration, their service, so many things will be different. So Apache 2 is available, and there's so many packages with Apache 2 name, man. Okay, anyways, to install it, we'll use apt install Apache 2. Well, there is this old command also, apt-get, but now just apt works. Okay, so you can just say apt install Apache 2. Say yes. You see there's so many dependencies also it's installing. So in CentOS, the repository files are here, etc yum.repos.d. Here you have repository files. In Ubuntu, come on, give me the shell back. Come on, give it. Yeah, it's in etc apt, that directory. Here the repository files. This is the main file, sources.list. It will have these URLs. Okay, these are the repositories, or you can create your own directory or your own file into this directory. And very important command with apt is apt update. Before installing any package, you run apt update. Now apt update is not going to update any software. Okay, it will just go and poke all these URLs. Yeah, I use the word poke, right? Very old word. It will just check all this URL, all this repository, what are the latest softwares, and it will build its own database. Okay, so when you say apt install and some package, then it will download the right package or the latest package from there. MySQL is currently not here. Let's see MySQL client. Yeah, that's the package name. So if the package is, it says if the package is not available, either you have given a wrong name or that package is not available in all the repositories. So we may need to add a new repository there. How to add it and all, we'll see that later, okay? Right. So let me just reiterate things here. Red Hat family like CentOS, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Fedora, we have the RPM command to install a single package. To remove the package, single package, RPM-E and RPM-QA to list all the packages. And then there are a few more options you can always check with -f and help. To install package with the dependency, you have yum install. To remove the package, yum remove. In Ubuntu, single package installation dpkg-i to remove dpkg-e and to list dpkg-list. To install package with its dependency from the repository, you have apt-get, or you can just use apt install package name apt remove to remove the package. So you have seen now two methods of installing packages in Linux system. One is single package, download with wget and install. The other one is through package managers like yum or apt. Okay, so these are two methods. There are other methods also. We'll see that later. This is compiling from the source code. We don't know about source code anything. So once we learn about source code and all, that time we'll see this. We have some packages that we are going to install with this method. We compile the source code and then we set it up. And then there is one more method. The package comes directly as a tarball, as a zip file. You download and you extract. Like we're going to do that for Tomcat and Nexus. Yeah, and I guess few more. Right. So there are multiple ways of setting up packages, setting up softwares on Linux system. Okay, today you have seen two. All clear? Okay. Remember, you can ask me question anytime you want. Okay, your basic is strong, then we'll have less problem next year. Right. So next year. All right. So let's take a holiday. All right, 1st of January. Right? Or you don't want holiday? That's also fine with me because yeah, Happy New Year. So we'll meet on Wednesday back again with Linux. Okay, set your resolutions right. You have to do a lot of learning this year. Yes, this year you have to do a lot of learning starting from the first day of the year itself. All right. Happy New Year to all of you. All the best for the new year. I will see you in the next year. Thank you very much.
Imran, Naresh, sorry.
Yeah, I'd
Hello?
given a very closing speech, man, and then you're like, yeah. Okay, fine, go ahead. I'm just kidding.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Imran, actually, now this Saturday I tried to install this CentOS. Okay. So the thing is, I have downloaded this CentOS 7 and the uh, VirtualBox is 6. So I tried to install CentOS 7, but the thing after trying to install, at that time it is giving the blank screen. I don't know why. So after that, I did some analysis. So might be there's issue with the some operating system. I don't know exactly. So I have downloaded another one, that ISO file and the installation package, VirtualBox also. So currently I'll be using this CentOS as a CentOS 32-bit with 6.0 version, 6.10 version. I have installed successfully, but the thing is,
You have 64-bit system or 32-bit system?
yeah, this is 64-bit system, operating system,
Okay.
Windows 7.
Okay, then there could be this BIOS problem. Have you enabled VT in the BIOS?
No.
So you're saying you can create 32-bit system, but 64-bit is a problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So go into your BIOS setting, all right, and there will be a setting virtualization technology or VT or virtualization. Okay, it will be disabled. Enable that, boot it, reboot your save and exit, reboot, and then you would be able to create 64-bit VMs.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That I have put that in the mail also, actually, in the note, that enable
Yes,
VT in your
actually,
BIOS. If you don't do
might be
that, then
I done late, so might be I did not receive that mail again.
might be right. So enable that one. It will be with different names, VT or VTX or Intel virtualization or virtualization technology will be with different name for different motherboards. Okay. So find the right one, enable it, save and quit. You will be good.
One more thing. One more thing. So I have installed this 6.10, but the thing is, when I was installing now, so I have not configured this.
Installing, what are you installing? Installing means what?
Install this is 6.10 CentOS 7. I'm installing the
You're
virtual
creating
box.
virtual machine on virtual box manually.
Yes, yes.
Why are you not
So
using Vagrant?
sorry.
Why are you not using Vagrant? Vagrant.
No, actually, I did not attend the classes now. So I
So
not
go
attended.
back, read, go through the video and do it. It's important, man. I don't want you to waste your time on virtual machines so much. With
Okay,
Vagrant,
okay,
it's just minutes work.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So first
I,
enable your
I have.
VT, go through the Vagrant session. Okay. I think it's the third session. Okay. And
Okay,
sorry, go through it, and then you'll be happy to know how fast it is to create VM. Don't waste your time too much. Okay. Do it
okay, fine,
quickly.
fine.
All right, before the next year starts. All right, do
Yes,
it this year itself. All right,
sure, sure, sure. Thanks a lot.
no problem. All right, then people, I have to catch up with other batch also. We'll discuss a lot of things in the next year. Again, happy new year. See you all in the next year. Take care. Bye bye.